Hi, I'm Alex Bell. Welcome to the ABC10 Plus Dating Special. It's a place where you can find information on all things dating, from ways to finding romance to staying safe on dating apps, and also those special places to visit with your someone special. So a little bit later in the show, we'll also have a dating coach to join us answering some questions. So we have all the details that you'll need. But like everything else, the dating scene has gone through some pretty big changes in the last few decades. The growing number of single people has been driving a steady decline in the U.S. marriage rate since 1990, falling from 67% to 53%, which is about a 15% drop, according to Pew Research. Nearly half of Americans who were single and looking to date turned to online dating. Pew Research found that 45% of single Americans who were searching for a relationship or casual dates used an online dating platform. And what apps are people using? Well, according to Pew Research Center in 2023, Tinder, of course, was the most popular dating app among adults under 30, followed by Match, Bumble, OkCupid, eHarmony, and Hinge. But with so many people choosing to find love online, we decided to talk to two detectives from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Sexual Assault and Elder Abuse Bureau about red flags and what you should really be looking for and ways to protect yourself online. So according to the Sacramento Sheriff's Department, last year, this unit received 797 sexual assault cases. In the majority of these cases, the victims knew their attackers, everything from being in a serious relationship or marriage to meeting for the first time. So when searching for a suitor online, detectives really recommend that you comb through a person's profile to see if their lifestyle and how they actually portray themselves matches with your lifestyle. They say don't give out your phone number right away, and if personal questions come up, you can resort to general answers. Detective Daniel Lee says it's always a good idea to make sure that you trust your intuition.
If you feel like something's wrong, it probably is. The majority of people kind of can sense things. I mean, I would say leave your phone on, maybe turn on your location services, obviously plan ahead of time, but let someone know obviously where you're going and who you're going with. And then potentially how long are you supposed to be gone, so that way if something doesn't add up, then they know something's wrong.
When meeting out for a date in the early stages, Detective Ariel Fontes suggests going somewhere public and familiar is a good idea. She also says to consider limiting the amount of alcohol you drink or don't drink at all. Also, having a taser, pepper spray, or knowing some kind of self-defense can also come in handy during emergency situations. And if you feel uncomfortable, it is okay to tell the person that things just aren't working out. For all those single parents out there not giving up on romance, detectives say that you can also just take things slow.
Be hesitant and cautious and probably wait maybe 6 months or more before my kid is being introduced to someone. You never know what someone's intentions are in general in life, whether that's personal or professional. Always play cautious with that.
In extreme cases, both detectives say steps can be taken to get a restraining order. And if something happens to you, they recommend reporting the situation quickly in order to get that evidence properly collected. Overall, they say just trust your gut and make sure that you stay vigilant. And while some people are out looking to steal your heart, others might be looking to steal your money. ABC's Lionel Moyes reports how to avoid falling for a romance scam.
A warning about scammers trying to steal more than your heart. Officials are reminding Americans, especially seniors, not to fall for romance scams, with criminals using a fake identity to gain your affection and trust before stealing from you.
Well, it's a big issue to the tune of $1.14 billion lost to romance scams just in 2023 alone.
This month, the FBI Philadelphia field office and the U.S. Postal Service issued warnings for people not to be duped.
What are some things that we should be looking out for as red flags?
These criminals will express their love very, very quickly within hours or days. And they'll always find excuses to avoid personal contact. And they'll create fake emergencies, something, a medical issue, maybe a travel expense.
This 76-year-old moved to Georgia and was tricked into sending her life savings, $70,000, to a man she met online.
I'm out all that money and I don't think I'll ever get it back.
And last month in France, a woman in her 50s revealed she was scammed out of nearly $850,000 talking to fraudsters using an AI-generated version of Brad Pitt.
Is leveraging the AI technology allows these cyber criminals to portray themselves as real people using somebody else's voice completely. And so what it's done is it's made all of the things that I just referred to more difficult and more challenging to discern the real thing from something that's completely fake.
Charlie, an online platform that offers banking for seniors, released a list of the celebrities most impersonated by fraudsters. Topping the list, Keanu Reeves, Jason Momoa, and Sandra Bullock. The FBI says if you do find yourself in an online relationship, think twice before sharing personal information, take things slow, and never send money to someone you've only spoken to online or by phone. If you think you've been scammed, experts say you should immediately call the credit bureaus to freeze your credit reports. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
All right, it's not all negative experiences out there, though. Even though a majority of people now use online dating to find true love, many still believe the best way to meet is in person first, which is why a Vacaville man, inspired by his own parents' love story, decided to start Flirt Fest. Okay, so get this. It's a singles event that incorporates icebreakers and speed dating for specific age groups. ABC10 sat down with him and found out how a simple idea has now brought dozens of people together and even led to true love.
I consider myself everyone's wingman, so yeah.
From picnics and art at the park to winery dates. What became an idea for Vladimir Morales in 2023 has now grown to an event that brings dozens of strangers together, all in hopes of finding a connection and ultimately love.
That's kind of what I try to do or convey with my event, is creating a moment where people can feel comfortable to come together and hopefully spark some romance.
Vlad says his parents met randomly at a train station decades ago.
I always liked the story because there was no dating apps. I liked the way that they met. So just genuine interaction, a conversation that sparked out of nowhere.
After losing his dad, he said he made it his mission to try and recreate special moments like their love story for others.
I just want to see people meet organically, and I feel like dating is kind of a hard thing nowadays as well because we're so used to our phone, dating apps. It makes it difficult for us to kind of like speak with one another.
Now Vlad and his mom host Flirt Fest. At the event, people get to mingle before speed dating. The events are split up by age groups from the 20s all the way up to those in their 50s. Vlad says his goal is to promote safety, fun, and to get people out of their comfort zone.
Everyone that comes to the events is a stranger, so no one knows each other. They've never met.
In 2 years, Flirt Fest has held 30 events across the Sacramento and Bay Area. And in the short time it's been around, Vlad says some people have turned to the event more than once to find their match, while others only attend once and found love.
This one couple reached out to me and let me know that they appreciate the coupon, but they met each other at the park and now they're engaged. I told them jokingly that I would officiate their wedding.
While not everyone gets engaged, Vlad says these events have also brought about nice friendships and opportunities for networking, all ways of creating meaningful connections. When asked what his message is for people who have lost hope in dating and believe there's no viable suitors out there, Vlad says this.
Just go for it. There's good people out there. Just like there is bad experiences, there's also good experiences out there. Not everyone's the same. I would say that just give yourself a shot. You deserve the opportunity to be happy, a chance at romance. There is repeat customers as well, and my goal is to make sure they find someone so I don't have to see them again. But in a good way. I do want to see them, but I want to see them happy out of this event.
He wants to see you in love. All right, if you want to learn more about Flirt Fest or purchase some of those tickets for the event, you can also search them on social media. Vlad says his dream is to one day break the world record of largest number of people at one speed dating event. So, of course, we wish him luck on that. And make sure you stay with us because coming up, we're going to learn about attachment styles, and we're also going to be speaking with a relationship coach who's going to give some really great dating tips. You won't want to miss it. We'll be back right after this.
Trust isn't given, but earned. It's built every day by doing the hard work, putting in the hours, doing the research, holding the powerful accountable, and being there when you need us most. Working hard to earn your trust every day, every newscast, every story. Watch weeknights at 6 or stream live on ABC10 Plus.
Welcome back. One thing that people are becoming more aware of when choosing their partner is their attachment style. And that really refers to the way our caregivers interacted with us when we were children and how those interactions now affect our relationships. During the 1970s, a psychological experiment called The Strange Situation resulted in identifying 4 attachment styles. So these are secure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, and disorganized attachment. According to the Cleveland Clinic, secure attachment is the ability to build healthy and fulfilling long-lasting relationships. Anxious attachment is a type of insecure attachment where people often have a fear of rejection and abandonment and seek out outside validation. Avoidant attachment style is another type of insecure attachment, and in this one, people may have difficulty building meaningful relationships due to the fear of intimacy and closeness. In disorganized attachment style, people may exhibit inconsistent behavior or have trouble trusting others. And there are tests that you can do online to find out your attachment style. And really knowing about these styles can not only help yourself, but also your partner. And together, you guys can build a stronger relationship. Now, to learn more about some of the challenges of dating and also give us some really great tips, I want to go ahead and bring in author and relationship coach, Joey Garcia. Joey, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
I'm so glad to talk about this.
I mean, I think everybody is talking about dating, especially with the online dating apps. You know, it's a new world out there, and we know it's a new world. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And online dating apps are a great way to start to realize what you really want and get clear about that.
So my first question is, for those that are looking for love, what is something that they should do to work on before they even start the search to find somebody?
Great question. I think one of the first things is to get rid of the baggage your parents might have left at your doorstep, which is, thinking about, did your parents, are you fearful of introducing someone to your parents because they have higher standards than you think are realistic? Sometimes we're carrying these expectations that really came from our family, and that's a lot of pressure to put on a first date.
Yeah. So getting all that figured out first.
Exactly.
What are some tips, because I know we were talking about online dating a lot, what are some tips for people that are creating their online profile? How can they stand out, be different, but also be real and authentic?
Great question. Again, I love these questions. So I think one of the important things is to think about that profile photo instead of like a filter to look the sexiest or the youngest, maybe a photo of you with your favorite book. It would launch then right away a conversation that's meaningful and that can carry on into a first date. So that's a really easy sort of thing someone can do.
And what should people be looking for in someone else's dating profile?
Values. We tend to look at shared hobbies, which is great. But if you don't have shared values, those hobbies are not going to really keep your relationship together.
Now, if you're not really for the online dating, what are some other ways that people can put themselves out there and find somebody?
Ask your friends, really work your network, but just be open when you go places. Don't be afraid to go somewhere by yourself, have lunch by yourself, go to a movie by yourself or the theater. It's easier to approach someone when they're by themselves than it is when they're with a whole lot of other people. So I would say get comfortable being solo in the world, not alone, but solo, so that you're also more comfortable between dating relationships.
All right, let's talk about ghosting. First, for people that don't know what it is, maybe explain it first, and then how can you feel a little less rejected if that does happen to you? Because I know that I have a lot of friends, they say that this has happened to them,
I think it happens to everyone, and really all a ghosting is when somebody just mysteriously disappears and
this
doesn't
can be
give a reason.
relationships, jobs, it can really be anything.
Yes, definitely. So it doesn't mean anything about the person who's been ghosted. That's the thing we have to remember. It's that the other person didn't have the backbone to be honest and direct and say, hey, this is not working out, or I've met someone else.
Yeah. Give us some tips on not getting friend zoned.
Oh.
Well, I guess talk about what friend zoned is and then give us some tips on it.
So, it's when there's no romantic sexual attraction. No attraction that might lead to wanting a longer relationship. So the issue is you've been friend zoned. Why not get comfortable with being friend zoned and see if that person has somebody else in their circle, right? Instead of being, again, uncomfortable or feeling rejected around it. I think sometimes we look for every excuse to feel rejected and uncomfortable sad and depressed. Instead, can I turn this over and use it to my advantage?
Have you heard any success stories, or can you give us some success
I've
stories?
had some wonderful success stories. Yes, so I work a lot with young professionals in their 30s who are at this nexus where they know what they want, but and they know themselves to a certain extent, but they're also really open to learning about themselves, and that's the perfect place to be when you're looking for someone. So I've been able to help people move their own anxieties. We're just talking about attachment styles. Move their anxieties out of the way so that they can show up for a date open and receptive, and then talk realistically, directly about their feelings without putting those into sort of a blame game toward the other person.
And I do want to ask you, if you do find a good partner, what should you do next to make sure that you maintain a healthy and long-lasting relationship?
Yes, keep conversations going. When you find that you're keeping secrets or sharing everything outside of that primary relationship, that's a red flag. So, we might want to process with a friend before we talk to our partner. That's perfectly normal. But I would say, really try to keep that relationship secure by being honest with your partner. Tell the truth.
Yeah. And I do have one more question.
Okay.
For someone who maybe hasn't found a good match, what's a way to not be discouraged, with the dating scene out there?
I love these questions. Okay.
I mean, this is what people are talking
This is realistic.
about.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes. So the thing is that being single is a relationship style that's valid and equal to dating and to being married and every other sort of partnership, opportunity. So think about being in relationship with yourself, and then just play a game with yourself. Every person you meet, consider them your soulmate. I know this is sort of a spiritual perspective, but it shifts things inside you. And in that process, you'll get clearer on what's right for you, what doesn't work for you, and how to find the person who is your person.
Joey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Some really good tips. Thank you so much. And we'll be right back after this.
Watch Marcus Allen's new entertainment show, Take a Look. Stream anytime on ABC10 Plus.
Romance. It is everywhere you go, especially here in the U.S. So we're going to be revealing the most romantic states according to QR code generator. So the top 3 are New York, Massachusetts, and New Jersey. California has come in as the 10th most romantic state. And according to the data, people in Montana are the least romantic, completing the list dead last out of all 50 states. But the state rankings and data used Google Keyword Planner to study the average number of monthly searches for keywords related to love and romance in all of 2024. Northern California is filled with some pretty amazing places and activities that are perfect for dates. So one great idea is just going on a hike. This can be anything from an easy hike along the American River in the Auburn State Recreation Area to the Rubicon Trail and Eagle Rock in Lake Tahoe. Another idea, wineries. We know they are all over Northern California. You can wine taste in Napa, or for a closer and more affordable experience, you can always visit wineries around the Clarksburg and the Delta, Lodi, or Amador County. There are also great museums in our area, everything from the Crocker Art Museum in Sacramento to the Hagen Museum in Stockton. Northern California also provides great and interesting getaways. John Bartel is taking us on the back roads to a very special motel that takes you back in time.
Welcome to the Featherbed Railroad Company, a bed and breakfast where you can sleep in a caboose.
The caboose was where the brakeman rode on the back of the train.
This is June Behar. She and her husband Paul bought the place around 3 years ago.
The original owners got the idea They drew it up on a pizza box, actually, over dinner one night, and decided to buy cabooses that were being decommissioned from the railroad.
The Caboose Hotel opened in 1985. The previous owner trucked the cabooses to Clear Lake and then used a crane to put them in place. The cabooses are all authentic Pacific Railroad cars. Paul, tell me what room we're in right now.
This is Easy Rider.
The rooms, however, well, they're not authentic.
So
What, Paul? What is this back here?
oh, this caboose you can actually drive around.
Is this handlebars?
Yes, this is handlebars.
Let's just say the cabooses are not exactly kid-friendly. We're in the Casablanca room.
Yep.
Okay.
The old Hollywood version.
These are themed romantic getaway rooms, and they've spared no expense on the details. All right. So the trench coats and the fedora come complimentary with the room?
Yes, and I match.
There's a total of 9 themed cabooses. 7 of the rooms come with these private jacuzzi tubs. The Wild West room, however, does not. Yeah, we're really authentic in this one here. Each caboose is sort of its own time capsule. There's something for everyone, and they tend to attract repeat customers. Do you guys try out a different caboose every time?
No, we've stayed in the Orient Express 3 times. We did try La Loose Caboose once, but it was, well, it's got
interesting.
character.
Just in case you're wondering, this is the kind of character they're talking about. Not many hotel rooms now have mirrors on the ceilings.
Yeah, so that way you could, make sure that everything's...
You're all tucked in. You can make sure that you're all tucked in.
All right, thank you so much, John. And if you prefer a more relaxing date, you might want to catch a movie. ABC 10's Mark S. Allen has you covered with the best romance film classics. Take a look.
Yeah, let's talk about romantic movies. I've decided to dust off a couple, one from last century, one from this century. Let's start with this century, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Huge Netflix hit, begat a sequel, or 2 if you think about it, and I caught up with Londa Condor to talk about it. Look. Nice to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
Awesome work in this.
Thank you so much.
How creepy is it that a middle-aged guy like me found myself leaning into this movie, weeping openly?
Listen, you would be surprised. This is the exact reaction that I get from most men that watch the movie. First of all, they say, "Oh, yeah, my girlfriend, and my wife, like, they love the movie and they thought it was like really cute." So like, and they said you have to sit in and you have to watch it. So she made me watch it, and we were sitting on the sofa and I was watching it, and it was really cute. That's what they always say. They go, "It was really cute."
So I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
I need to not be shamed for my love of this movie.
No, don't be shamed.
Did you have any idea, and I think you probably did because the book was so successful, that the first movie was going to land as big as it did?
No. I knew the book was so successful, but no one had even bought our movie. Like, we made the movie not even knowing that anyone would even see it. We didn't even know if anyone would see it. So we were hoping, but in no world did we think that it would be received the way that it was, because we didn't even think anyone was going to see it. You know what I'm saying? And that was just really shocking and refreshing and overwhelming. And I'm so grateful. I really am. Like, the people that watch the movie, they're so loving and kind.
And to this day, it is the most watched romantic movie on Netflix, a Netflix original, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and 2. All right, let's go back to last century when I tried to look like one of the members of the New Kids on the Block. We're talking about The Notebook. A very young Ryan Gosling, Rachel McAdams. Makes me cry just thinking about the rain scene right now. I predicted this movie would be a classic for decades to come in this interview with Rachel. Take a look.
You hope it has a great reaction. You hope that, men come out to see a romance.
And jump out of their shallow behavior and admit that they like to fall in love just as much as women like.
Please.
When I was a kid growing up, women would get together and talk about an affair to remember, and they would break down crying, just, reminiscing about a movie they had seen 20 years before. Yeah. And then later on, same with Sleepless in Seattle, which featured that movie. I think the same is going to go on with this movie. This is going to be one of those timeless romantic classics that people pull off the shelves and dust off
and
you think?
Have a good cry. I hope so. That would be really nice.
Have you seen it with an audience?
Yeah.
And did you look around and did you see it, you know, everybody sobbing?
I didn't need to look. I sort of didn't want to look. Afraid I would sort of just break. It was like this little bubble fantasy that I was in. But I could hear people, you know, sobbing, laughing, clapping, you know, crying, little sniffles. It was really nice.
It does have hints of humor along the way just to break up the gut-wrenching drama.
Right, which is very much like love. You know, you have to be able to laugh.
True.
You have to be able to laugh in it as well.
So true. A timeless classic. Unlike my flat-ironed hair in that interview, not so much a timeless classic. All right, so you want to talk about The Notebook or other romantic movies or any movies like Captain America? You can. Just go to Take a Look. Take a Look on ABC 10 or the ABC 10 Plus app. Look, no matter what day of the week it is, I hope you have love in your heart. Back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. And now we want to share an inspiring story about true love and how it cannot be stopped, not by even time, injustice, or World War II. This California couple is now celebrating 80 years of love and marriage.
In 1941, following Japan's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. government rounded up more than 100,000 Japanese Americans.
It was shocking, and all of a sudden everyone gets one suitcase and you go.
Jane was 15 years old. Her family was rounded up and sent to the Santa Anita racetrack, where she met 17-year-old George Shitara.
Oh my, how handsome.
Jane's family was sent to an internment camp in Arkansas.
The government tells you that's where you go.
George's family was sent to a camp in Colorado.
What could they do? You go, where we tell you to go.
And at that camp, the government had a change of heart and the nerve to suddenly stick George in the U.S. Army.
I was drafted out of the camp, stick in the Army.
While serving his country, that young man, at 19 years old, went to Arkansas and married Jane.
I didn't plan to get married so quick.
Jane and George Shitara moved to Encinitas, where they opened a family flower farm and started raising kids.
They're happy.
Del Farnham is one of 4 daughters. She's proud of her parents for not living a bitter life following the internment camps. After all,
my mom was born in Seattle, Washington. Dad was born in Inglewood, California. You put me in a concentration camp with barbed wire and guards with guns. I don't know about that.
Jane and George are celebrating their 80th wedding anniversary.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate everybody showing up for my grandma and grandpa. Let's give it up for 80 years.
George Johnson is one of the grandchildren and named after his grandpa.
You know, I'm very proud of them.
George was brought to tears by all of the memories.
Just happy to call myself their grandchild, you know? They've done really good for themselves, in spite of all of it.
Oh, hello.
Surrounded by friends and family.
Oh, how exciting you guys. I know.
The Shitaras are 99 and 97 years old, celebrating 8 decades of marriage.
That's a long time.
I lived a good life. I have 4 beautiful daughters, and I couldn't ask for more.
Now that is a beautiful love story, and it's brought to us by Jeff Zevley. Jeff, thank you so much. That does it for us today, and I just want to say before we go, if you've already found love, congratulations. And if you haven't, just remember this. Love is not just romance. It's within your family, it's within your friends, and most importantly, it's within yourself. Thank you so much for joining us on this ABC 10 Plus Dating Special. We'll see you next time.